Hey, it's Raven. I'm going to do a full, complete, honest review of the Heaven Contacts by FXI's. I'm wearing them right now. I had planned to do kind of in the daytime with bright light, but I just never seem to have a chance because by the time I wake up and it being winter, 4 o'clock, it's already dark. But I'm wearing them right now, obviously. I don't know if you can't really see. I didn't want to do this. And kind of, I don't know how well you can make them out, but they're actually really pretty. They do look really good. That was fucking horrible, I know. They look really good for contacts. I mean, when they actually take care and do them right, the contacts look really, really good. The quality's good. The paint, artwork, the way they look natural and actual real light look amazing. But the problem is that I have had so many problems with this company. I actually have to recommend against going to them unless you have a lot of money and you really don't care how it's spent. These contacts cost me New Zealand $800, and it was $800. It's supposed to take 2 months. It's been half a year and I barely got them. First of all, they spelled my name wrong. They got my address wrong and I had them correct it. They corrected it for a short time, obviously not long enough, because when I got the second round, which this is, they still used my original name and my original address, which is like, I told you, you spelled it wrong. I called you up, which every phone call costs me because it's an international call, you know, to have to wait and talk and explain blah blah blah. Or do they reimburse you for that? No, they don't reimburse you for absolutely anything, pretty much. You know, they're money hungry fucking assholes. Anyway, I called in, didn't matter to them whatsoever. You know, they still had my original fucked up name and fucked up address, spelled it completely wrong. Then I called in and I asked, should I get it with prescription or not, because I have really bad eyesight, and usually, I know I'm not supposed to, but I'll double up my contacts. I'll put like clears with color, or like white with a prescription color, you know, so I can get the color that I want because my eyes are so dark, but still be able to see. And they suggested against doing that, which is fine because I was really worried about doubling up on such expensive contacts. So it was $150 extra to get it with prescription. But I felt good about the decision because I was like, well, now I can just wear one pair of contacts, you know, as it should be, and I can still see and it'll be amazing, you know. But when I got the contacts in, not only were they not at all the color that it looked like online, did not look realistic. They're basically just gray. They didn't have anything else on them. I mean, they look like contacts I could have bought for $20 in Mexico, you know? But not only that, but they forgot to put the prescription on. And I was like, what the fuck? And I put them on and I couldn't believe it. I thought, maybe, do I have another pair of contacts on I forgot to take off? You know, what is going on? Surely, when they charge that much money, their customer service should be way higher than it actually is. And nope, they forgot. I called in, I complained, and they were like, well, you can send them back. And I said, you know, I think I should get to keep this pair, and you guys should, you know, make another pair. They're like, nope, we won't do that. And I said, well, then I want you guys to pay for the shipping back. They're like, nope, we won't do that. And I'm like, what the hell? What am I getting out of this? Oh, we'll offer you half off or a certain amount off of another pair. And I'm like, why am I going to go back to you if you screwed up so bad on these? I'm not going to waste any more money on your company. And I bitched and I bitched and I complained so much. And finally I threatened to make a video like this, exposing them for how they really are. And then they stepped up and said, no, okay, well, if you pay for the shipping, we'll reimburse you the shipping and we'll check them over and make them right. And I said, okay, fine, because I figured that's all I was going to get, you know. They wouldn't even offer me a full refund. They said only a partial refund. And I'm like, what the hell? You know, what good is that going to do me? I just lost like $400, you know, if I only get a partial refund. So I might as well just get them to replace them. So I sent them back in. They said, we'll let you know as soon as our lab has, you know, looked through the contacts and made sure that they're without prescription, because these are definitely the Heaven contacts. They're definitely the way they're supposed to look. at the end of this, I'll add a picture of what I got, and then I'll add a picture of what I have now that was taken when I got them yesterday. And you'll see, the first pair I got was not heaven. They were not like this. They were not detailed. They were not made right. And they just kept trying to feed me this line that it was like worth that much money, which it is not. And so, they said that they would contact me. They're horrible at getting back to you, by the way. They will not. You have got to follow up with them non-stop. And so they did not get back to me. A month later, I was like, did you check? Oh, it was a good thing that you wrote me and asked, because we actually forgot all about it. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I have all these emails still saved. So, if they try to deny it, I could easily print screen or even record and show you this is what they've told me. I have every email from the very first screw up until the last screw up. And then she said that, oh, they would check and let me know. So then they checked and they said, oh yeah, well, there's no prescription. I'm like, I told you there was no prescription. And by the way, the color is wrong. And I wrote and I said specifically exactly how I wanted it. They did not write me to re-verify. They just said, oh yeah, we'll make it right. And I'm like, why don't you tell me it back so I know that you got it? Didn't tell me it back. And I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be horrible. I ended up having to pay like $20 insurance and like $15 or some shit to send it. And I got back from them only the shipping. They didn't cover me for having to pay insurance, which I think is bullshit, because something that's worth $800, the post office was like, you need insurance on this. And I was like, next thing I know, they're going to tell me they didn't get the contacts, and I didn't want them to rip me off anymore, so I had to. I shouldn't have had to pay anything because they screwed up on the color and didn't even put the prescription on when they're the ones who advised me to get it. So where in all of this is it my fault, and why should I have to pay? That's some major screw-ups on their side, don't you think? So I think it was another, 2 months or so later, and they said, I wrote back and I said, what's the status on the contacts? You're not keeping me up to date. And, oh, well, they should be ready to go out tomorrow if everything, checks out okay. And I'm like, all right. Didn't hear from them. So I wrote back, oh, it should be out tomorrow if everything I'm like, you already said that like 4 days ago. And then so finally I got an email saying that they had been sent out, and it wasn't even an email from the customer service. It was an email automated to tell me, this is the tracking number. And I'm like, what the fuck? And so I clicked on that and I saw my name's wrong again. Name and address is wrong. So I wrote back and she's like, oh, I'm sorry. Do you want them sent back here? And I'm like, I'm not even going to bother to answer her. So I had to contact the person that lives there now and have them give me my contacts, And it's just like, the contacts are beautiful. They're beautifully made. They are better than any contacts I've ever had. They look nicer. They look far more realistic. They cover the dark eyes. They do everything they're promised to do. But you got to ask yourself if it's worth going through the kind of service you have to go through in order to get these contacts, because the service sucks. The communication sucks. They screw up. And if you're dealing with clients that are paying, in some parts of the world like I am, nearly $1,000 for contact lenses, that's almost the price of LASIK in America for one eye, I could go get laser surgery and not have to worry about not being able to see, But I'm giving these people my business. I'm giving these people my money. Without people like me, they wouldn't be in business because they wouldn't be making any money. You would think that they would treat their customers as they deserve to be treated. They would acknowledge their mistakes and work harder to reimburse you. I think if they're charging hundreds of dollars for contacts, and if one person is this angry, like me, I think they can, maybe take it a step further and say, well, you know what, you deserve to have shipping and insurance paid back, and maybe even reimburse me a quarter or half the cost of the contacts because of what I'm having to go through for that. But they would never do that. I understand their FCA, whatever the fuck it's called, their license, and they're federal approved, so it's non-hygienic to send me back my other ones, so they can't do it. Okay, I can kind of see that. Don't really agree, but can kind of see. But there's no reason that they shouldn't have been able to reimburse me something. So my final decision is I would not ever do this again, and I highly advise anybody else, probably don't do it either. They don't deserve your money. They have no idea how to treat customers. So that's all I have to say on that.